We're not crying over rugs today. We're crying over water bottles.
My son did not know that his water bottle was in the side pocket of his backpack the entire day. Apparently, the teacher did not show him his water bottle in the side pocket of his backpack. Even though mom did her part, I feel like the teacher did not do hers.
So wait, he didn't know that there was a water bottle in his backpack, but then he did know because you told him, but all the students had a water bottle on their desk except for your kid. So he didn't know from you. Every other student has one, but not him. What is the common denominator?
The kindergartner's concept of time is non-existent.
So instead, you're going to come onto TikTok. You're going to blame the teacher.
I want to go viral on TikTok. Do you want to go viral on TikTok?
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Selena. How are we doing? This is another back to school video. So let's dive into this. I have my drink of the day, bringing that back. Have you guys had this Topo Chico mineral water? I told you guys I did not like sparkling water or even mineral water until like the past 3 years. And this is refreshing. I know it's getting colder outside, but I do like this. But how are you guys doing? Are you in school? Do you have people in your household in school? It's a different transition going from summer to fall. I'm still waiting for it to get colder outside because I live in the South. I just want it to be colder. I miss having 4 seasons, you guys. Ugh. Moving is not in the cards right now, but if I were to move, what state in the United States do you think I should go to explore those 4 seasons? I've never lived out west. I'm originally from Ohio, but I am kind of I am kind of eyeballing the West because when I went to Washington, I was in Seattle for a weekend and it was amazing. I know a short amount of time doesn't show you everything about a city or a state that you need to know, but I just loved it. The next place I want to explore is Oregon just to see, and then I am going to Colorado at some point because I do have a friend out there, so I'm just visiting her for the weekend in November, but I'm excited to see, hey, is this a place I can move to the next 3 to 5 years, because that's on my list. But yeah, how are you guys doing? Today we are talking about back to school. I think you guys love the back to school drama. I do too, because we're nosy over here. So there is this mom. Her name is Disabled Mama Marie. She has almost 4,000 followers on TikTok. Her bio says Mama of 4, Lebanese American, spinal disabilities, and I think that's a psalm from the Bible. Okay, forgive me. I do not know, all my psalms and everything. But as far as Marie, her most recent video went viral. The comments are now turned off, but when we get to the comments, I'm going to be reading them from other people screen recording the video. Anyways, she is upset that her son came home thirsty even though he had a water bottle. Check this out.
I have a bone to pick with kindergarten moms. Yesterday we went to pick up my new kindergartner, my COVID baby, from his new school. And when I got there to pick him up, he said, "Mom, I'm so thirsty. Do you have a water bottle?" And I always bring extra water, so I said, yes, of course. He went to drink the water and was dying of thirst. He said, "Mom, I haven't had water all day." And I was so disgusted. We live in Arizona. It's 116 degrees outside. The cars said 122 degrees, and my son did not know that his water bottle was in the side pocket of his backpack the entire day. It gets better. He's 5 years old, okay? He has not had experience going to many preschools, and yes, that's my fault. I've kept him with me. That's just my personal preference. He was my COVID baby. I didn't want to let him go. So he's learning. He's trying all these things for the first time, and when I went to drop him off for school yesterday, I was advised by the teacher that parents were not allowed in the class, and I get that. If you're a teacher, I understand. You have a schedule. You need to get a routine going with all of these kids and students. I understand. But for us mamas that are the hovering mamas, I wanted to make sure that he was at his desk, that he had everything he needed, and this is why. Because when I picked him up from school, he said he only had 1 sip of water from the water fountain the entire day. I also got a picture from the teacher showing the kids in class and doing great artwork and studies and whatever they're doing in their projects, and every student at his desk had a water bottle except for my son. My son's water bottle was in the side pocket of his backpack. I had told him in the morning, but again, he's 5 years old. They're learning, they're growing, they're trying to adjust to these new ways of life. They need help and they need guidance. So apparently the teacher did not show him his water bottle in the side pocket of his backpack and said it's their responsibility. Well, I find that really disturbing that my son was not guided to find his water bottle, know where it is, know that he had water, even though mom did her part. I feel like the teacher did not do hers. I'm really upset. I don't know what to do. I did address this with the school. I kept him home from school today because of the situation, and I'm lost for words. As you all know, dehydration can wreak tons of havoc, especially on younger children. And this is just so scary for me, and I just am sick about this. So let me know if you've experienced anything like this or what you would do if you were me. I appreciate your help.
Now listen, I'm not a parent. If you are a parent, I fully invite you to tell me what you think about this whole situation, because you know what? That's a whole world I may or may not understand. And I think it's important to hear from a parent's perspective. Or if you take care of a child, or if you take care of someone else, I think it also helps too. If they came home from school super thirsty, borderline dehydrated, how would you feel about this situation? You guys know that I try to give people grace in my videos because, you know what, we're all human, and sometimes looking at things on the surface, it's just not the whole story. But the way that people respond in their second video usually tells me all I need to know. I'm not giving you that much grace, okay? Something interesting about what Marie said, I think she kind of told on herself. I will say I think she did a great job preparing her son. She had a water bottle. She knows it's hot where they live in Arizona. She sent him to school with it. However, it's not necessarily the teacher's fault if your son did not drink any water all day, especially knowing that he had a water bottle. He already had access to it. It's not like he was the only one in that class that didn't have a water bottle and the teacher didn't, help him go to the water fountain or anything. You know we love teachers over here, and I'm not a teacher, and I definitely think that we should hear from a teacher's perspective, especially if you are a teacher. For me, in my opinion, I do think that teachers get seen as just childcare sometimes. Yes, they're here to educate and support your child, and they go above and beyond. However, just because they are watching your child during the day does not mean they always have eyes on your child. I do think that they should support your child, but they're not checking your child's every move. Did they drink water at 10 a.m.? Did they eat their fruit in their lunchbox? The teacher's not going to know that, okay? So I think from that perspective, that's how I interpreted Marie's video. Because when Marie was saying that she saw that other kids in the classroom in that picture had their water bottles at their desk, I don't think it's necessarily the teacher's job to say, hey, does everyone have water bottles on their desk? To be honest, if anything, they probably just made sure everyone had a lunch, because that comes up in schools. School lunch debt is a big thing. If you're looking for something to donate to, call up your local school and see if any kids have school lunch debt, because that is something that you can donate to, and that's something that's often overlooked. And we know that schools are underfunded. We know that kids need to eat. So a lot of the times the schools have to carry that debt. And I don't know what happens after that, but when I was interning for a school, I did get introduced to some of that a little bit. And it's very interesting because a lot of the times that debt will carry over into the next year, and it's just an ongoing debt. Side tangent. Anyways, if a lunch lady or someone in the school sees that a kid doesn't have a lunch, they're obviously going to try to provide that. But I feel like with water, because water fountains are more accessible, and I don't know, I don't really remember having a water bottle in school. I just feel like food would be a first approach, if anything, that the teacher would pay attention to. So that doesn't mean that a teacher shouldn't say, hey, does everyone have a water? Yeah, they probably do, but I feel like if anything, that's just not their highest priority, and low-key that's probably not even in their job description. They probably have to sign something that they'll always have an ethical code of conduct and put the child's needs first, and water is a need, but I don't think necessarily it's the teacher's job to make sure everyone has a beverage during lunchtime or what have you. But I don't know, it could be different in Arizona. Do I have anyone who lives in Arizona that watches? Please let me know if it's different over there, because I know y'all have some different rules over there about like your tags on the car and things like that. I also have to wonder, like, is this just a case of people trying to get views? Because you see her other stuff and it's like, if you just want to keep doing your influencer stuff, just do it, but you don't necessarily have to do rage bait to get the attention you want, because honestly it's not working. It's just gonna backfire. But I don't know this lady. I have respect for moms, but if you want to be an influencer, just say that.
I want to go viral on TikTok. Do you want to go viral on TikTok? I want to go viral today. Let's go viral.
Let's dive into some comments and responses from other creators. Ma'am, this is a you problem, not the teacher's problem. If every child had their water bottle, why did your son not go looking for his? Interesting. And mind you, we're talking about kids in kindergarten too, so I feel like as a parent, you would want to continuously remind your kid, but this is like the first day or first week of school. I remember when I was in 4th grade, I would always forget my pedometer. It was something that I wanted to wear, and my dad would always get mad at me because I would forget it. But after the 3rd time of forgetting it, then I started to remember it, so. And, getting yelled at, of course, but rightfully so. Because I would also lose it. Anyways, okay, back to the comments. If you told a kid where his water bottle is, it's not on the teacher to remind him. They are responsible for 15 to 24 other kids. Exactly, especially if you're changing classrooms too. And this is kindergarten. I mean, there's just a lot going on.
You know that there's rules for and reasons why parents shouldn't be in the building to take their kids to the classroom on the first day, but you're a hovering mom, so you needed to be in there to make sure that he was like getting to class okay, everything was where it should be, like to show him where his water bottle is. I'm not following. Like, that the rules are important and you're respectful of that, but yet not enough to not take your kid into the classroom. So wait, he didn't know that there was a water bottle in his backpack, but then he did know because you told him, but all the students had a water bottle on their desk except for your kid. So he didn't know from you. Every other student has one, but not him. What is the common denominator? Yeah, I can see why you would think it was the teacher's fault. It's probably her fault. She probably didn't tell the kids to get out their water bottles because he didn't have his. She probably didn't teach them, tell them to get a drink when they were out at the water fountains. And she probably was trying to dehydrate your son. I mean, let's be real. Keeping him home on the 2nd day of school probably was the best choice. Teaching him to be an advocate for himself and raise his hand when he needs a drink, or to be responsible and listen when he's told that he has a water bottle, that kind of stuff. That's probably, he's only in kindergarten, so I support you 100%. Good job, Mom.
In a place like Arizona, I feel like this is both the teacher and parents' responsibility. The heat is dangerous. Parents, make sure to send a water bottle with your child and make sure they know where it is at. Teachers should be encouraging kids to hydrate occasionally throughout the day, especially young ones. If a parent isn't sending water, continue to reach out to remind the parent, offer the water fountain. You didn't tell him his water bottle was in there?
My name is Dr. Iman. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I wanted to offer some gentle perspective on this situation. I want to offer a different perspective. So, and this is coming from the mental health professional, not the mama, because if I had my mom hat, maybe I'd feel differently, and I need people around to give me some tough love here. But as the mental health professional, when a child comes into my space, that is their space. There's toys everywhere. They can pretty much do what they want to do. There are some rules that they have to follow, but it is their space. And there are things strategically put into that room that might frustrate a child because they have to figure out how to put it together. They have to figure out how to unscrew things. Maybe they're getting some scissors and they're trying to figure out how to cut something. But all of that is very intentional, because what I want them to do is to figure out how to overcome those barriers by themselves. So say a child is having trouble opening a canister of paint. I won't immediately jump in. I'll just observe that they're struggling with that can of paint. And they may look at me a few times, and I'll look back at them and I'll say, oh, you're really struggling with that can of paint. But what I'm waiting for is them to say, hey, I need some help with this can of paint. And I might say, reflect back to them, okay, so you're asking me that you need help with that can of paint. What I want them to do is say, can you help me open this can of paint? And if they ask me that, I absolutely will the first couple of times. But what I want them to do is to be able to open that can of paint themselves. Because while there are some things in the playroom that are tricky, none of it is impossible for that child to figure out on their own. And most of the time, we don't get to that, can you help me? They figure it out themselves. And so that's the point that I want to get to, is that you want your children to figure out these things on their own. So by you, mama, saying, hey, your water bottle is in your backpack, that is you providing the guidance to your child of, hey, this doesn't have to happen anymore. From now on, if you need a drink of water, it is in your backpack. Now, if the kindergarten teacher had done that for him, then what that teacher is teaching him is, I need to go to teacher whenever I need something, rather than, no, I know where things are. I know where to put my backpack. I know to get my my water bottle out of my backpack. I know I need to, get my books out of my back. That is what you want to teach your children. And I cannot tell you how confident your children will be when they are allowed to figure things out themselves. And I get it. These babies, we just want to hold them so tight. Mine is going to kindergarten too, and I just want to do everything for him. But I can't. I know that I can't. And I have friends around me that remind me of that. So I have a lot of empathy for you. This is a hard time for us. But I think if you think about it in that way, I think that you'll feel better as a mama, and your child is going to be so confident throughout the school year.
I was a teacher for a decade. You can give kids explicit directions, but if you did not first teach them at a little self-sufficiency at home first, they will struggle in a group. This sounds more like your child has been equipped with basic life skills, and that's not in his teacher. But you kept him home, so what lessons did you teach him? Okay, that is true though. Like, what were you accomplishing by keeping him at home? Did you keep him at home and teach him a little something, or did he just get to play? Playing both sides. Does your child not know how to get his own water bottle? He could have brought his water bottle with him. Even my preschooler knows how to do this.
As someone who teaches preschool and kindergarten, I figured it was about time that I weighed in on this whole water bottle debate, because this video gave me 2 points that I felt like I needed to talk on. So let's discuss what my thoughts are about this child supposedly not drinking water all day long. My first initial thought is that a kindergartner's concept of time is non-existent, especially at the beginning of the year. They have zero concept of time. So when a child tells you something like, I haven't drinking water all day long, they probably mean in the last 30 minutes to an hour, which means they most likely were drinking water all morning, after recess, during lunch, and within an hour of dismissal. And then in the last 30 or 40 minutes, maybe an hour or two of the school day, they just weren't drinking water. And to them, in their mind, that means all day long. So making sure that you understand that children just do not understand a concept of time is so important when they come home and relay information about the school day. The second thing I wanted to talk on is something that I've always told parents of students in my class, is that I will never believe 100% of the things the student says about you, and I expect you to not believe 100% of the things the student says about me. So we always check in with each other of ha ha ha, they said this, just confirming is it true or not, very, very cordial, very kind, almost in a laughing manner, but always checking in with each other, because the stories are almost always never true. So if your child ever comes home to you this school year and they say something to you about what happened at school, and you're kind of leery about what on earth the story could have been, always contact the teacher. Always contact the teacher. Never take your kindergartner's words at face value. But anyway, there's my 2 cents on this matter. I hope you have a great day.
So she does respond, and I feel like she's doubling down in this, and she's basically saying there's other details that we need to be aware of. Check this out.
It's me, your local kindergarten bone picker, and I'm not done yet. This week, we're going over the logistics that nobody warned us about. Packing lunches that come back untouched, the disappearing water bottle or missing lunchbox mystery. We're also going to touch base on the kid memory wipe, teaching them at home for weeks or even months things that they forget once they go to school. the I didn't eat because I forgot I had food moments, then the overwhelm of all of the things. Papers, permission slips, and random crafts flooding the kitchen counters. Spirit days, crazy hair days, pajama days, and finding out the night before. The calendar chaos, school events, early release days, and half days that sneak up on you. Not to mention the is it just my kid thoughts. Yours is the one that doesn't speak up in class yet, doesn't know how to advocate for themselves yet. They're behind in something and you start spiraling, comparing what your kid says about their day to other perfect stories from other moms about their days. The social side for moms. Navigating the parent cliques at pickup or drop off, feeling judged for your kid's hair, outfit, or lunch, meeting that parent who seems to have it all together but realizing they probably don't, and the teacher communication gap. Trying to advocate for your kid without feeling that mom's stigma. You spend all summer prepping them. Lunchbox ready, water bottle labeled, clothes laid out. You even do the pep talks about speaking up or asking for help, finding their stuff. You think you've got this whole kindergarten mom thing locked down. And then day one hits and your kid comes home saying they didn't drink any water because they didn't know where it was. The same water bottle you showed them 15 times. And their lunch comes back untouched. Suddenly you realize half of kindergarten is forgetting everything that you've taught them at home. And here's the thing, it's not just them, it's all kids. They're new, they're overwhelmed, and they're figuring it all out just like us. But can we please stop acting like one forgotten water bottle means a mom isn't doing her job? We're all just trying to survive the kindergarten learning curve, one missing lunchbox at a time. Honestly, kindergarten is like sending a little drunk roommate into the world with a backpack. They forget where their stuff is, they eat one bite of lunch, and they come home sticky with no explanation. We're all just hoping they make it to June with the same water bottle that they started with. Please let me know how kindergarten started out for you or your little one. This is your safe space, so let's hear it.
Someone says learned helplessness. I mean, someone supports her and gives her the 3 hearts, and she hearts that. You keep using that phrase wrong. Having a bone to pick with someone means you have a problem with them. She says, actually, I used the phrase exactly how I meant it. I said I have a bone to pick with kindergarten moms, not against them. It was never about attacking other parents. It was about opening up a relatable conversation we're all navigating. If the only gotcha you have is nitpicking phrasing while Okay, that is not rolling off the tongue well. If the only gotcha you have is nitpicking a phrase while missing the point, then maybe the real misunderstanding isn't mine. I don't know if this was a mistake, but she hearted her own comment.
No, you want to pick the brains of kindergarten moms. You have a bone to pick with your son's teacher. Everyone telling that woman to take her son out of school and homeschool, that's not good advice.
Ooh, sub for one day. That will answer all your questions. Yeah, see, exactly. I mean, I'm not an educator, but I wonder how that is, especially when you're working in a school setting. That just has to be hard. Yeah, at this point, you are just being problematic. Teachers can't force students to eat if they choose not to. Believe me, they aren't starving. They probably had a morning snack and an afternoon snack. It's starting to sound like you forgot to pack his water bottle on the first day. Aren't you a mom of 4? This ain't your first rodeo. Yeah, true. She said she's a mom of 4. Girl, no one said you weren't doing your job. We're saying to stop blaming the teacher for your child not advocating for himself all day. One day of not drinking much water is not going to have lasting effects on his health.
This generation of moms, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I'm like scared for the future generation. I really am. Let me get this straight. You're upset at your kindergarten teacher on the first day because your 5-year-old didn't know that he had a water bottle in his backpack. So instead you're going to come onto TikTok, you're going to blame the teacher who probably has 20 students, cry me a river, poor me, play victim. You're going to make your child the victim on his first day of school and set him up for failure. You wouldn't be able to survive for 1 week living in the 80s with all the Gen Xers. We would literally get up at 7 a.m. and go out and play all day. And we drank from the garden hose, or we would have a little Zarex, and that would be all we drank all day, and we're fine. We ended up fine. So you hovering over your kindergartner, and not even hovering over your kindergarten, but hovering over the teacher who on her first day of school, get the fuck over yourself. Tell your son when you're all packing the bag, here's your water, here's your snack, here's your this, here's your tissues, here's your that, and then let him learn life skills. If you can't do that while he's young, he's going to be in your basement when he's 40 years old. I promise you.
5-year-olds have been going to school since the 17th century. You got on... Sorry. Oh, no, I didn't get, okay. You got on this app and made a huge deal attempting to blame the teacher for your child's lack of understanding. It's not that serious. Just homeschool until he's 15 and leave the underpaid teachers and the rest of us out of this. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Your son may end up at the age of 40 in your basement with this level of anxiety you give. They will be fine. Relax, girl. They will learn important life skills. It's healthy, friend. Trust they can master things on their own. Now, again, it's the first week. They're probably still navigating their new routine. Her son is starting to go to school, so there's probably just a lot of emotions going on. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I think the kid will eventually learn. He's still growing. He's still learning. Yes, you need water, but it's not the teacher's responsibility to check every single time. And also, we have to acknowledge that teacher and parent communication has opened up a little bit more, so they're sending pictures throughout the day, or sometimes they have secure messaging between parents and teachers, and so that they didn't have that when I was growing up. It's just a different world nowadays. We're all navigating it together, but we cannot blame teachers as the first thing for something not going your way or because you have a concern. You can't just blame someone else for it. We need to start looking in the mirror a little bit more. Yes, you prepared your son's water bottle, but now this is a lesson for the next time. Okay, buddy, remember that you didn't have enough water and how thirsty you were. Make sure that you use the water fountains and bring your water bottle everywhere you go. If it helps, when the kids have theirs, make sure you have yours too. Or I don't know. As a parent, what do you think? What would you tell your child to do if they are not having their water bottle around? And sometimes you just need to get yelled at. Once I got yelled at for my pedometer, that's when I started bringing it around with me everywhere I need to go. And now I have this. So very grateful for this. Anyways, that's it for today's video, y'all. Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. If you don't, I just appreciate you being here. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.